What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I put out a video. A lot of you know sort of the reasons why that is, and for those of you that don't know, we recently lost my pawpaw, which has been just incredibly difficult. We've had, we've of course had our good days, but there's also been some bad days, and there's been good days that had bad moments and vice versa. But the Lord is good. He's helping us through it. But this morning, as I'm currently on my way to work, I'm on my way to pick up a guy, and I was just thinking about how the Bible lets us know that when Lazarus died, and at this point he's been dead for 4 days, and Jesus shows up, and Lazarus' sisters are crying, and they're saying, Lord, if you would have just been here, you could have saved him. You could have prevented this. And Jesus, being fully God and fully man, like the Bible lets us know that there was no mistaking who Jesus was and is. The Bible tells us that in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. He is the fullness of God in flesh. When we get to heaven, there's going to be one throne, and on that throne is going to be Jesus. Well, here he is, God in flesh, and the Bible says that Jesus wept. And the people that were there say, behold how he loved him, how Jesus loved Lazarus. They were very close. They were very close friends and family. And the thing about it is, Jesus had this reaction knowing good and full well that he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead. He told his disciples before they even left to go there, he said, Lazarus is asleep and we need to go wake him up. I need to go wake him up. And it's funny because the disciples, their initial reaction was, well, Lord, if he's asleep, he's doing fine. Like, why do we have to go wake him up? And then Jesus had to just tell them plainly, Lazarus is dead. I apologize for the sun. It is very much in my face, but that's okay. Anyway, that reaction that he had to Lazarus being dead, and to just the grieving and the sadness around him, was that he wept too. He experienced that in his humanity. His flesh was sad. And of course the Bible lets us know also that the Messiah would be a man who was a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And he didn't just grieve about Lazarus. He experienced grief about many things. But the point is that one thing that I've learned through this is that, and I'm still learning because it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, this grieving process. But one thing that I've noticed through this is that it's like God has he's been letting us feel the grief. Like he's letting you experience what you're supposed to experience in the grieving process, but then doesn't leave you there. It's just kind of like what he did with Lazarus, and in that whole situation is he showed up, he had his moment of grieving, and then he said, take me to him, take me to his tomb. And they did, and he called Lazarus out. Well, that's kind of like what he's been doing through this process, is allowing us to have our time of grieving and our moments of grieving. And whenever the grief hits, and it does, seemingly out of nowhere sometimes, but whenever it hits, it's like he allows it to do so, and then he just steps in and becomes our peace. He's always peace, but sometimes you don't feel peace. In a lot of ways, I feel like you have to receive peace. Like, whatever, Lord, if there's peace for me today, I receive it. I want you to give it to me, and I'm not going to fight it off, because you can fight off that peace. You can try to wallow around in your sorrow, basically, and just in a sense refuse it, But that has not been something that I've wanted to do. I was telling someone last night who checked on me and said, the Lord is your peace and this and that. And we've been praying for you, and he's going to help you through it. And I said, well, he has for sure, and I've not argued with him. It's been so far. I can pretty confidently say that this has been the most difficult thing I've ever walked through, and yet here we are. And it's all because of God. The only reason that I haven't gone just crazy is because of Him and because of God. And I just was thinking about it this morning that it's really funny how the way that we read it going down in the Bible is what He's done with and I'm speaking for me and sort of in a way for my wife too, because we've grieved differently and we've experienced it at different levels, but it's been the same thing. Like He allows us to have our moments and be human and experience that, because it's just part of the process. But then He comes in and speaks peace and just comforts. So I guess I just want to acknowledge and say that I'm thankful for that, and we're doing good. We are more or less getting into a regular routine. We've had some other stuff come up pretty immediately after the funeral and everything that was very difficult to navigate through as well. But every bit of it has been, the Lord has been there. We've never, it's interesting because through the things that we have faced, we've never felt alone. Like, we've never felt like, what is happening to us? What are we going to do? Like, where do we go? What's the answer? What's the solution? Like, we've never felt that way. We have known without a shadow of a doubt, okay, we're facing this, but He is helping us. Like, the only reason we're even making it through this is He's helping us. And I told Sarah, we were kind of in the midst of one of these really bad moments, and I was able to tell her, I said, we've got to remember every single thing that we have faced up to this point, we came through it, and we're still here. And it's going to be this way from here on out too. Like, we're going, this horrible moment that we're in right now, we are going to come through that as well because of Jesus. Now, it's not by our own might or power or anything like that. It is purely 100% by Him, by His Spirit. We can take no credit for it and don't want to. There's no way that we would even have walking around sense if it wasn't for Him, especially during this time. So I just wanted to get on here and acknowledge that, and just say thank y'all so much for the prayers that you've prayed for our family. It really does mean a lot to see the comments and to see that y'all have been praying, and you've kind of been dealing with it from some of you in 3 different aspects. And like, you've got my mom and you got Sarah, and then there's me, and we're all dealing with it in our own way and experiencing different things at different times, and you've all just been there, and I want to thank you for that. Life does go on. I know this for sure, and I kind of mentioned it in a podcast recently, that Pawpaw would definitely not want me to sit around and just grieve him all the time. He would not want that. He would not be happy about that. He would tell me, all right, you've had your time to cry over me, now get back to it. That's what he'd get back to work. We got to get back to life is what he would say. So that's what we're doing, and we love him. Dear God, I'll always miss him. I'll always there will always be a hole in me now, because he impacted my life in a way that nobody can imagine. We used to say it in kind of like a joking, funny way, but like we would be working on something and Papa would tear something up, or there's literally been times we would put together like equipment and it would be done backwards. We'd have to undo it and then put it back together again. And we would joke and always say, man, there ain't but one Eddie do it, and we got him, and that was always a funny joke back then, but it still rings true now. There wasn't but one Eddie do it, and thank God we got him. We were the ones that had him, and I love that man. I miss him. I'm grateful for every moment that I had with him. The Lord blessed me with 33 years with him. He played a very, very significant part in me becoming who I am. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I've got a lot to learn, and I've got a lot to strive for, and there's no doubt about that. But I think that the Lord has given me a good North Star in Pawpaw. Like when you're talking about things like what kind of man you want to be and what kind of man you need to be, that's Eddie Dewitt is your North Star. Strive to be like him. He was an honest man, a hard-working man, an honorable man. He never spoke bad about anybody, almost to his detriment at certain times. Like he wasn't a perfect man, and he'd be the first to tell you that, but he was so just a jewel of a man, and you don't get over losing somebody like that. I'll never get over it. I'll never be the same in a sense, but the Lord is going to help us navigate from here on out. And I believe that one day I'll see him again, and I hope that when I do, I can just give him a big old hug. And I hope, I know this sounds kind of crazy and I'm fixing to end this here, but whenever I would call him, he didn't answer the phone by saying hello. He would answer the phone in one of two ways. He would either say, hey buddy, or he would say, what you doing, grandson? And I hope that when I see him again that he greets me with one of those two greetings. I'll take either one of them, either hey buddy or what are you doing, grandson? I would give anything right now to hear those words again, but I'm holding on to the hope that I will hear those words again someday. Until then, we're going to put our heads down and get back to work. We got a lot to do. The job is not finished. There's people to serve. There's things to learn. There's a kingdom to build. There's things to do. So I'm going to honor him by doing that. And thank you so much again for your patience, for your prayers, for everything you've done for us, for the cards that you've sent. Genuinely, truly, it means a lot. And I'm grateful to have y'all in our lives. And I can't thank you enough. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to have more content out very soon as we kind of get back into the swing of things. I'm going to be doing the Q&A. I've had several people ask me about the Q&A. It is coming. Hopefully it'll be worth it. My plans to record keep getting pushed back because of things that happen, but that's okay. It ain't gonna whoop us. We're gonna get it done. Gonna get the Q&A done, more podcasts, more videos. So yeah, thanks for hanging in there. I love y'all. I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, be blessed.